Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona. I hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling start to Serenity Sunday. Yes, we're on a little later because we just got back from our Sunday drive. We did not get to the dog park today because it was raining. And we all know how Zeffie loves the rain. She kind of had a few, when we went out for our walk, it was just starting to rain. It was just spitting a little bit. And, or sprinkling, whichever you want to call it. And it stopped while we were walking. But she was reluctant to get out from underneath the awning, so that was kind of funny. But she eventually came out. We did our walk, came back, and then while I was out walking, I got a text from Brandon saying that asking if we could get on video chat with the kids, and so I got to spend a few minutes talking. So I said yeah, and so as soon as we got back here, instead of getting in the car and going for a drive, we came inside and we sat down and had. Spent some time talking on the video chat with the grandkids. So that was awesome. It was awesome to see all of that going on and to get a chance to talk to them. And of course, Bo wanted to tell me about his puzzle that he had gotten, and I'd made him one of those, one of the 12-piece puzzles, and for his birthday, and he absolutely loved it and said he finished it all. And I said, that's awesome. He says, and then I broke it. I love that. And then he broke it again. I said, well, now you're going to have to put it back together again. So he absolutely loved that. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, got to talk with the kids and what's happening with their lives and that. So that was nice just to catch up with them. I do miss them. I really do miss them. But I'm trying to get back to California for a visit. And right now, campgrounds are not available. And I've been checking. I've been checking for October, November, December, January. Nothing is available right now. Nothing. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I am trying to get back there and visit them and that sort of thing too. So we'll get there. We'll get there. Eventually we will have a cancellation somewhere. Where it will be, I don't know. But so I'm trying to get back there. I've got I just want to get back there and visit everybody and catch up with everybody and get some hugs, get some grandkid hugs. But yeah, so I keep checking each week, and each week I get the same answers: sold out, sold out, sold out, sold out. And kind of the only thing I'm dreading about going back there is because of the gas prices. And I'm like, okay, with this thing, when you only get like 7 to 10 miles a gallon, and now I'm going to be towing a car behind me, it's sort of like, yeah, we're not going to get far on a tank of gas. And I hold 75 gallons. So when you're paying $4 to $5 a gallon and you got 75-gallon tank, you do the math. It gets up there in the pricing. So, actually, if I go the other way, if I go through Yuma, because Yuma's only 3 hours from San Diego, that might work. Yeah, I might go that way instead of along the 10. So we'll see. Spend a night in Yuma, a couple of nights in Yuma before we go to San Diego. But again, it's trying to find the campground space. Doing the road trip is not a problem. It's finding somewhere to stay. That's the problem. So I'm working on it. I am working on it, but I do miss the kids. And so I'm trying to work very hard to get back there to visit with the kids and that. The kids and the grandkids, and just spend a little time there in San Diego. And so that's what I'm trying to do. So that was a nice, pleasant surprise this morning to be able to talk with the grandkids. So that got the day off to a very super fantastic, sparkling start. And then after that call, we then hopped in the car and went for our drive. It was raining on and off, and knowing how Zeffie is with the rain, we didn't do the dog park. It was also coming down a little heavy at that point as well. So we ended up doing this great big drive, and we ended up going on the 303 north for a ways, and then we came and we went past a couple of streets I knew, and I thought, we're just going to keep going for a little bit. And I was like, Then we came across another, and I thought, well, I haven't been on this street. It was Lake Pleasant, and I thought, well, if I go to the left, I think that takes me to the lake, and if I go to the right, that'll take me back towards the campground. And I was like thinking, and then of course it starts raining again. I'm like, okay, we're going right. Because to go up to the lake and get out and go for a walk around the lake while it's raining, I did not have my rain poncho with me. I know, keep rain poncho in the car. kind of put the kibosh on that one. So we went right and ended up doing this great big long drive around somewhere and ended up getting breakfast and finally got back here. But it's beautiful. It was, I have to tell you this, with the rain in here, it helps a lot with the temperatures. It was like 72 degrees when we went for a walk this morning, and we got back and it was 75. And I'm like, oh, I love this cold weather. I love it. I love it. I love it. So very, very happy about that because it means the nights are getting cooler too. And so far for the last week, we've been able to have one AC unit on at night, which means it's been very quiet at night. So I was like, yes, yay. But today is all about what are you doing to relax, refresh, and recharge and rejuvenate so that you're ready for a phenomenal week. Yeah, we just got back from our thing, which is why I still got the hat on and my shoes because I'm also going to go do laundry today. I haven't told Zeffie yet, but she's up on patrol on the front window up there just relaxing. And yeah, so as soon as I've done this, it's getting the laundry into the car and going over and putting it on. So what are you doing today to relax, refresh, recharge, rejuvenate, get ready for a super fantastic, sparkling week ahead? I just have to update my planner for next week, get some things organized. I've got a couple of tasks I need to do before tomorrow so that it's in place for the week and I'm not scrambling later in the week to get this finished because I have a very, very busy week coming up. And I can't wait till next Saturday. But I'll talk about next Saturday more later on in the week, excuse me. But it's going to be an amazing week. I've got meetings up the wazoo this week. So I have my time for working in my calendar, and then I've got all these meetings coming up, and I'm like, okay, well, these times are fixed. These ones I can do a little flexibility around them. Yeah, so that's kind of what we've done, is done some flexibility around the ones that I can be flexible around. And so yes, I'm looking forward to this week. It is going to be an amazing, amazing week. And I have some testing to do on projects this week. I have some other work to do on projects. I mean, this week is going to be packed, and I can't wait because it's all going to be worth it for what's coming up this week and everything else. All of the long working days are going to be so worth it. I can't wait. So I'm going to take today to get the laundry done, and I'm going to go get it done now so that way I'm done by like mid-afternoon, and then I can kick back, relax, watch 2 or 3 movies before I go to bed tonight. Squeeze a dog walk in there somewhere. Well, that was weird. Usually she has that reaction come in the other way. The bedroom is like a cave. If I open the blinds up in there, she gets miffed at me. But she just sat up on her bed like she does when, oh, I heard something. Jumps down and goes trotting into the bedroom like she can go see what's in there. And usually she has that reaction from the bedroom coming this way. So that's going to be amazing. But anyway, I'm out of here. I got some stuff to... Oh, hang on. No, I can't finish yet. Oh, jeepers. So what are you doing today to relax, refresh, recharge, and get rejuvenated and ready for the week ahead? Let's see. To tell your story question of the day is, what trouble did you get into when you were younger? What fun stuff did you get up to that got you into trouble? Oh, we got comments here from Shelley. It's not as hot as when you were here in Vegas before. It's cooling down a lot more at night. Yes, love that. The cooler night's excellent. Cleaning house and reviewing the virtual doTERRA convention today. Oh my gosh, doTERRA! I got my doTERRA order the other day. Oh, there's some amazing stuff in there. Oh, so cool. And that Madagascar vanilla, Shelley, I totally agree. It is amazing. I might diffuse some of that today. Yeah, I might diffuse some of that. I don't know. I got all these new oils to check out and test and everything else. So I'm trying to figure out what to put in my diffuser today. We shall see. But anyway, so you tell your story. What did you get into trouble for when you were young? I used to get into trouble a lot. Yes. When did I get into trouble? I got into trouble for lots of things. I was not the perfect child. I don't think anybody ever is. What did I get into trouble? I remember one time I got grounded because my friend and I, one of my best friends in high school, her and I went out with we went for a walk with the boyfriends, And we went for this walk. It's when I was a teenager. We went for this walk that was down to we went for this great big long walk. Ended up on the beach, like, I don't know. It seemed like miles from home, but it wasn't that far really. And we hadn't told anybody where we were going for a walk. And so we're out there walking along, and then we come back along the beach, and we stop off at her boyfriend's place. He was with his at his parents' place. We stopped off there, and then we're sitting there, just chilling back, relaxing, listening to music, just chatting and just hanging out. And then we decided it was time to head home, and so we headed off home. And the guys had stayed together, and just us two girls were walking back. And we're driving along, and my friend's father pulls up next to us and goes, "Where have you girls been? We've been out looking for you for hours." And we're like, "Oh, we're at the beach." And then we went over to this place here and we're sitting there listening to music. "Why didn't you think to call us and tell us where you were? We've been worried about." They'd been out hunting for us. Yeah, we both kind of got grounded that day for about a week for getting our parents all worried about us because we didn't tell them where we were going. And then when we did get to somewhere with a phone, we did not call to let them know where we were. So yes, so both of us got grounded that week. Yeah, that wasn't, well, it wasn't, I mean, I just hung out in my bedroom and read. It wasn't too bad, but not being able to go out. I wasn't allowed to go to any youth group activities because I was grounded. It was, if my parents went out, I had to go, when we went to church, it was straight home afterwards. I didn't even get to go do my usual Sunday afternoon thing by going and hanging out with the family for the afternoon, or with their daughter who would be in the youth group with me, and then going to the youth group session that night. Didn't get to do any of that. Completely grounded. I think we were in the process of doing a musical at the time too. I wasn't even allowed to go to rehearsals. Yeah, I was grounded. So, but looking back, I was like, it was a lot of fun. And then there was times, we were allowed to go out, but we had to be home by a certain time, and I would be late and hadn't called because I didn't find a phone anywhere to call. And we didn't have mobile phones back then. We didn't have cell phones. They didn't exist. We had to find a pay phone to make calls back home to let our parents know that we were okay. But yeah, I was a little, yeah. But it's all part of being a teenager. It really is. And as a kid, I remember, why did I run away from home? I remember running away from home one time. And my dad, I didn't get very far. My dad came and picked me up and took me back home. I don't even remember why I ran away. I was like 3, 4. I was either 3 or 4. Maybe I was 5. I was going to school at that time. I think it was before I started school, so it was probably about 3 or 4. And Dad picked me up down the road. I don't even remember why I was running away. No idea. But yeah, I got into my fair spat of trouble. I fought with my brothers, and as we were growing up, sibling stuff, got into trouble over that. Yeah, there was all sorts of things. So what were some of the things you got into trouble for when you were growing up? Just, remember to write them down, journal them, because, we've got to put the good in with the bad. It's to give anybody a complete picture. It's, the good stuff as well as the bad stuff has to be in there, so they can see that you weren't this little angel child the whole time, and life is not perfect. Things go wrong. So we need to acknowledge that, especially with the future generations coming along and reading our stories. We have to let them know that it wasn't always sunshine and roses along the way, that there were some dark periods in there, that there were some troubling times. There were times when we rebelled against our parents. There were times that we got into trouble. So we need to acknowledge those times as well. I was watching, what was I watching last night? What do they call it? It's the British version of Genealogy. Well, they used to call it Genealogy Roadshow in England, and I've been watching their episodes, but they now call it My Family Secrets Revealed. And some of the people that go on the shows are real characters, and you can see where it comes down through their family as well when they start talking about their ancestors and stuff. And there was this one woman turns around and just called her it was actually her husband's great-great-grandfather, because she was looking for her husband's thing, and he's sitting there in the background with his brother. They're sitting, him and his brother are sitting behind to learn these things about their dad. And it was about their father or their grandfather. I can't remember which. And she's sitting there and she's telling them all the stuff that she's found out and da-da-da-da. And so they're now telling her this is why it seemed confusing and everything else. And because he kept, doing this, that, and the other thing. And she goes, "Oh, he was such a fibber." Which I think took the genealogist by surprise, because she just about lost it there on the seat. But there was one where this lovely elderly woman was sitting there, and she wanted to find out about her great grandfather or her second great grandfather. It was one of her great grandfathers she wanted to find out about, and she was all excited about this. And she gets there and she turns around and she says, even if it turns out to be scandalous, that would be really good. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. I loved this woman. I was so like, oh my gosh, I'm falling in love with this woman. Her whole story and everything else. And then she turns around and she says, I'm really hoping for some scandal in there. So she got her scandalous story. And she was so delighted with it. I'm like, so do you have relatives that you're trying to find the scandal stories about? Because it makes, life is interesting. There's bad people, there's good people, and everything all over the place. And, I've found I've found some really bad people in my family tree, and then I found the scoundrels in my family tree. So there's a mixture of good and bad in everybody's family tree. You've got those bad apples, and then you've got the ones that are kind of, that are rotten to the core, and then you've got those that have just gone bad. Some ones that are rotten to the core, they're sort of like, ugh, and you're reading about them, and all of a sudden you go, oh crap, they're related to me. But it's all part of the story. It's part of history. You can't change history, and you really can't. And I can understand people getting upset and annoyed and kind of angry for the people then, but they also have to remember, you're looking at it from the perspective of where you are in this time and place today. And not only are you looking at it from your perspective in this time and place today, you're not putting it into the context of the situation at that time in history when it took place. So you may read that you may read about have a newspaper article about somebody who was arrested for something that they did, and the punishment that they got for it. Well, that wasn't that bad. But you have to look at what was taking place in history at that time. And FamilySearch.org, they have the wiki pages. Their wiki pages are amazing because you put in there like the state or the state, the count. You put in there the state that you're looking for, where you want to find this information, and then you pick the name of the county. And it's really cool because what it does is it gives you a background history on the state. During history, it gives you like the history lesson of the state. When you pick the counties or the parishes or the towns or the cities and stuff, it gives you what was life like during that time, and then tells you where the records are being held and if they're available online or not, which is really cool. Then you can also go to the countries as well and find out what was the time like during this period, and it gives you a good picture of what was going on. Like somebody got in prison for stealing a loaf of bread. Well, you look at the time and place that they were living in. And he goes, loaf of bread, that's not so much. Look at the time and place. There was not a lot of food around at that time. These people were in the poorhouse and the workhouses and things. And, somebody went and stole a loaf of bread because they needed to go back and feed their family. They didn't have enough money to pay their family. So, to buy food for their family. So you got to look at the time period, what was going on. What was, there was a time where, one family on the show one of the shows last night I was watching, the episodes I was watching, there was like, you'd look at the birth certificate. When you looked at the birth certificate and there's no father mentioned, it meant that this was a child that was born out of wedlock. So if the father's name's not on there, it's because the child was born out of wedlock. If the father's name was on there, it meant they were married. So even when they were doing the registers and things, when they were recording births, if the couple were not married, the father didn't get listed, even if he wanted to accept responsibility for his child and he wanted to be on the birth registration and stuff. He was not allowed to be on there if they were not married. And so there was this family there where there was child after child after child that was born out of wedlock. But then you also had to look at the time and place that they were in, and there was all this class thing going on with the upper class and the lower class and the middle class, and even within the upper class there was a ranking within there as well. And some of the children that were born, they discovered that the son from one neighbor was the father of the child that born to the maid from the next door, of the house next door. And he was the one that, and his family was the one that ended up raising that child because the mother couldn't take care of it because of her status in life. Now they could have and also too in that time, the time period when this took place, is that you could not be a domestic servant in a house if you had a child. So the mother either had to give up her job and go live in the workhouse or something with her baby, and basically not be able to support her child, or but in this case what she did, she gave up her child to the child's father's family, and they raised the child that way. So there was all these different stories that you have to look at. What was taking place in time? What was it like to live during that time? Oh my gosh, she had to give up her child. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Look at the situation she was in. She was a domestic maid. If they found out she had a child, she couldn't work, which meant she had to go to the poorhouse or the workhouses and stuff like that. And the conditions back then were not the greatest to be in those places. So it was very interesting listening to all of this going on and finding out how people ended up, why people ended up in the situations they were in, why records couldn't be found for certain people along the way, and even too why some people changed their names, because they came across one grandfather and he was born under this name, and then later on he was they found him on the census under another name, and it's like, why the name changes? And the name changes were because he was born out of wedlock, so he had to take the mother's name. And then later on she got married, and then weren't sure if there was and it was before adoptions came in, but he ended up taking the father's name of the stepfather that he had. So there was all of this sort of thing going on around then as well. So you got to look at, when were they required to register births, and how were they required? Was it the parish where the child was? And some of them don't have birth records; they only have the baptismal records, because back in England, they didn't start registering births till the mid 1800s, 1830s, 1840s, somewhere around there. Prior to that, the parishes had to record the births through the baptisms that were done. So there was actual no birth record; it was a baptismal record, and on the baptismal record it had when the child was born. And this is kind of around that time when I was looking for my second or third great-grandfather. And he was baptized on his 5th birthday along with his half-brother, because you go to the entry below and there was his half-brother there. Same mother, 2 different fathers. And so now I'm trying to find out what happened to my 4th great-grandfather. Why was he listed at one address? He was not listed as deceased on the baptismal record. And in those days, you didn't get divorced. So I'm sort of like, what happened? Something must have happened in there for her to now be married to somebody else. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. And there's some great stories out there. And yes, you can, some people had a very hard life, and that's part of history. You can't scrub it over. You can't scrub over the fact that certain events happened, that different wars took place. People were treated inhumanely in some areas, and it wasn't just in one particular area. It was all over the world during this time, and even during the world wars and everything else. The world wars really were world wars. They took places in different countries around the world. Like World War II, there was different battles going on in different places around the world. One girl found out about her grandfather, and he signed up for the military. He signed up for the Royal Army when he was 17, 18. And by the time he was 23, his army records showed he'd been in like 8 different countries, fighting 8 different campaigns. By the time, in 5 years, he had gone to 8 different countries around the world, and fought in different war campaigns and things too. So, so it's very interesting to see just what people lived through and some of the conditions they lived through. And yes, today with what the technology we have and all of that, we can look and go, oh, I feel so bad for them and all that. Remember, at the time, they didn't know any different. That was how they survived. That's how they became the people they became. And those traits that they developed during that time, that's what's been passed down through the DNA and why you are who you are today. Because if they had not gone through some of the struggles and things that they had gone through, or have been a person who was very service-orientated, then who would you be today without the struggles that they had been through? Think about that. Who would you be today had your ancestors not gone through what they had gone through? And with that, I'm out of here. I got to go do some laundry. And we will catch you guys back here around 6 p.m. Pacific time to wrap up today. And maybe I'll do a genealogy question tonight. I haven't decided yet. Depends how much time I have today after my relaxation. I know I definitely need a nap. I didn't get to bed till like 1:30 this morning. Don't ask. All I can tell you is I hate TikTok. With that, I'm out of here. I have to put a timer on if I'm going to be watching TikTok. I have to put a timer on. 1:30 this morning when I finally got to bed. So have a super fantastic, sparkling day, and we will catch you back here around 6 p.m. Pacific time. Hey, konera.